It's a live sit and talk with Matthew Batrap.
That's right. This is Matthew from MiniWarGaming, and this is another live sit and talk at my messy desk. How messy is my desk, you ask? Well, there's leftovers from lunch, there's some terrain stuff I'm working on, which you're going to see more of, and then just all sorts of random stuff. So it is live from my messy desk and not from the new studio because I wanted to do some terrain work, and I wanted you guys to be able to follow along. And, oh, jeez, ruined my own camera. There we go. There we go. That's much better. It is 3 o'clock here, even though it's 9 o'clock somewhere else. Any boo or whatever, quite messy. 22 p.m. here in Finland. 22 p.m. Wow, you have a 48-hour clock. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, 3 o'clock here, 8 o'clock in lots of parts of Europe. Or is it 9 o'clock because of the daylight savings time? I'm not sure. And then Australia, it's like 3 in the morning and all that. So either way, today in the live sit and talk, I'm going to be assembling some terrain that I got from Bandua Wargames. And they sent this to us for our Infinity Battle Reports, which I promise we're starting soon. Just can't believe how swamped things are. Just with everything that's been going on with Apocalypticon and all our battle reports. But there are good things to come, I promise. You know, summer normally is the slow period for the wargaming industry, right? So if you run a store, then you would know that the summer is kind of your bad time, and it makes sense because it's nice out, and so people get out more, and so they're not as into their hobbies. Because in the wintertime, they can't go out as much, and so they get more into their hobbies, and so it just makes sense. And then of course you have Christmas, that obviously makes you lots of money as a store. But here at MiniWarGaming, summer is our busy time. At least that's what it feels like. Because that's when everybody's on vacation, and so that's when they all challenge us to battle reports, which is awesome, absolutely awesome. I'd rather have too many people challenging us to battle reports than too few. Because normally we have the problem of not having enough people challenging us to battle reports. And the last few weeks, it's been the opposite, which I like. So we're about to start there's a bunch of things we want to start because we've been doing lots of 40k, tons of 40k, and that's because everybody who's been challenging us has been challenging us to 40k. But I can promise you that you're going to be seeing more War Machine, Dreadball, X-Wing, and Infinity, and maybe some Warhammer Fantasy too. Because we just started a War Machine League, which you'll start to see, an actual league of there's a bunch of players competing to win prizes. And we're starting a Dreadball League amongst the staff members, hopefully by next week. Actually, not next week, because we're going to be gone next week. It'll be the week after. And then, of course, we're starting Infinity very soon as we can get our act together, because it's just been, yeah, been kind of crazy. And more, so yeah, you'll see lots more War Machine, Dreadball, and then I want to get more X-Wing games in there as well. Warhammer Fantasy we'll try to do more of as well. That all depends on players challenging us, whereas the other games we have a bit more control over. So, yeah, so that's what's going on. So I'm going to have the chat open, and what we're going to do is I'm going to move the camera down so you can see what I'm working on, and I'm actually going to assemble some of this terrain from Bandua Wargames. So I'm going to move the camera down. Look at that, professional, eh? Apocalypticon 2013. You can buy this shirt, not this one in particular, but a shirt like it, at our Spreadshirt store at miniwargaming.spreadshirt.com. And yeah, we're going to assemble some of this terrain. Now, I love this whole new trend of all of this laser cut MDF terrain. The reason I love it is, for one thing, it's usually really easy to put together. I'm having some troubles with this one, ironically, and it's a Chinese finger puzzle. I'm just joking. It's a radioactive container for Infinity. Well, you can use it for whatever you want, but it was built specifically for Infinity, for the scale and everything. And it's a lot cheaper than buying terrain from, say, Games Workshop. Games Workshop produces really, really cool. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted from the comments. That's why I'm stuttering here. So I'm going to minimize the comments while I just talk about this. Games Workshop produces really cool terrain, but it's very expensive because it's all their plastics, and it's Games Workshop, so it just naturally comes at a premium. You're paying for a brand name right there. Then you can get things like Pegasus and other ones who also produce nice plastic kits. But they're not the cheapest, and they're also not the easiest to get a hold of. And they're also not easy for companies to produce, and so you don't get as many companies coming in and producing plastic. But with this stuff, this is a lot lower cost of entry for companies to make laser cut terrain or laser cut whatever you want to do. And so we're seeing a lot of these companies crop up, and Bandua Wargames is one of those, and they create these really neat things. And there's so many cool things you can do with laser cutting. You can do like the etching to actually get the designs on it. Although basically once I airbrush this, that'll probably get covered. And you could theoretically leave it unpainted, but it would look best once it's painted. So I'm pretty excited for that. And I got all sorts of stuff done. I got a whole box back here of terrain. It's a few buildings that they sent me, plus some of the containers, plus like this thing right here. It's a garbage bin. And oh no, it dried shut. Urgh. This actually opens normally. It doesn't really matter that it opens, but you can turn this right here and it opens this little part. But I put some super glue in there. I tried to not put it on the thing that would stop it from turning, but some of it must have oozed over there. But that's okay. It still looks really cool just as a garbage bin. So really neat stuff. So I'm gonna open the chat, and we're just gonna chat. I'll answer questions that you have. I'm gonna turn it on the slow mode just because I know I won't be able to keep up because I'll be looking down and up. So I will look up every once in a while. I can't promise that I'll answer all the questions. Yes, you want to do a Q&A, so here we go.
Q&A.
That is what we're currently doing right now. So let me just get the chat bigger, zoom up with the size of it so I can just glance up, and then I'm just going to look up, and yes. So here we go. Miso says, Matt, I've been watching your Kato Bat Reps, and you always play Vlad and Drago incorrectly. Besides important stacks at Drago's Infinity, so you roll 46, drop 2. I actually always do that. I don't know how you saw that I was doing that wrong, because from day one I knew that they stacked, and I've always rolled 2 extra dice, dropping the 2 lowest ones. Somebody has asked me how the weight loss challenge is going. It's going well. I think I've lost 5 pounds so far. We're going to be doing our first weigh-in tomorrow morning. So that's good. So this thing, now this one has been a little tricky to go together. The nice thing is at first I got it and I'm like, this is the only paper that came in the kit, and I can't really see that very well, but there's really no instructions on it. So I went on their website hoping to find instructions, and they actually have a little video for every single piece of terrain. And so that's awesome because the video shows you how it all goes together. It's just a really short 30-second video. You have to pause it and let it keep going at the points that you're ready to keep going with. But I'm having a problem because this piece is just not going in there right. You can see this right here. They're not fitting properly. So I'm not sure if I did things out of order. So I'm just going to bust this out. Now there are some disadvantages to this stuff. Like for example, when I was trying to pop out one of the pieces right here, I actually broke this one. Because it's laser etched right along here, it made it so it's weaker right along here. So when I was pulling it, it did snap. So I'm putting some repairs on that. So it's not perfect. It's not a perfect technology. But it's like, whereas with plastics, you won't get that problem very often. And on top of that, with these, I've just been having a hard time fitting them in properly. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, because I followed the instructions on the video exactly the way it said. So these went in first. So we have this bottom part. And then the next part was just these. Now there is, yeah, see, they have to turn upside down and push it like that. Okay, oh wait. So I did do it wrong. Okay, so it does snap in a lot easier. Little subtle things that it's hard to tell in the video, as just the way that they fit wasn't working. But then I watched the video again and I saw that it actually showed not only where it went, but kind of how to put it in. So that's good. I'm doing these easier ones first because we got these big buildings that I want to put together, and I have a funny feeling they're going to be more complicated. Now they might not be. I might be surprised to find that they're simpler because they're just 4 walls and a roof. But and whereas these things are much more intricate. See, I've actually damaged this one a bit because I've been forcing it into place, and so it's actually broken a bit of the wood. So let's see if I can salvage it. I'm sure I can. And the nice thing is once we get it all painted up, it should be fine. So I think, yeah, that's what I did wrong. So I'm glad I figured that out before the show started. There we go. Oh wait, almost. There we go. Okay. So maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. And then this one should... Haha! There! Okay. That was much better. So. Then, the next part, I believe, is these. Oh, no, that doesn't fit properly. Does it go like that? No. So maybe it's the radiation thing. Yeah, see, this looks like it fits. Then what are these for? Oh, these are just, those are actually not part of it. See here, I thought they were part of it, but they just popped out of this part right here. And these snap in. Now, not all of these kits just snap together like this. Like the other one, this one I had to glue as I put it together, otherwise it would just fall apart. But this one actually kind of, this is actually being held together just by friction. So I might not even have to glue this one. So there we go, look at that. Pretty cool. And then we'll put the other one on the other side. Haha! Look at that. So there is our piece. That's pretty cool, eh? So we put it down on the table, and your model, do I have a model handy? I don't have an Infinity model handy. I do have a Kroot Carnivore. But you can see just the scaling right there. So there we go. So this is not Games Workshop Snap Fit, Chaos Renegade says. I'm not sure if that's a knock on Games Workshop or a knock on Bandua Wargames, because the Snap Fit for Games Workshop stuff that I've done seems just fine. Avenger says, even though they suck. Quotations. I must have missed something. But I'm not quite sure. So, that's one of them. I'd love to show you how I did this one exactly, because I have another one right here. Except, like I said, we've got this one piece that is broken and being fixed. Maybe I could make it even with the broken piece. Let's try. So basically it comes on, if you want to call this a sprue, it's not really a sprue, but it comes on the piece of wood that it's all been cut out. So it's like mostly cut out. And you just have to basically snap out the pieces. Now you got to be careful, because this stuff is, it's very fragile, I should say. It's not as robust as plastics or pewter or resin. So we got these pieces, and now I know that the middle piece right here for these actually just gets thrown away. So that's good. So, and then this piece I thought was something, because you know, you'd think that is something, but it's not. So unless it's supposed to be like a tool for popping out the things in the middle. And then you do still have to kind of go through and see, these need to be popped out, but the problem is they're only partially cut. So you have to finish cutting them yourself. So you got to be pretty precise with your knife. So I'll do that right here. Okay. Ah! See, and I just broke it. This piece right here is just so fragile. It's really hard to work with. I just had to snap that. So that's frustrating. Sorry, I'm not giving these guys a good representation here. I'm sure if one of the designers of this was watching, they're like, no, that's not how you do it. You got to do it like this. And I'm like, I don't know how to do it like this. I don't really work with making this stuff very often, so I'm just a noob. There, okay. I think we can salvage this piece, though. I think it'll be fine. So let's do the other one. All right, somebody just asked what are my thoughts against a new Tau, because I just played a game against a new Tau. What are my thoughts? They have no special rules except outflank and infiltrate, which doesn't allow them to charge. Oh, hold on. I just skipped comments there. I myself had not had much luck against them with my Blood Angels and Demons. Well, from what I could tell, they were quite powerful. My opponent, unfortunately, had a run of bad luck and rolled really poorly. He in the second turn, basically tried to focus fire down at one of my Turbogons, which would have been awesome for him. And he put a lot of firepower into it. I think about 2/3 of his army fired at it and did not kill it. And so he got very unlucky. So if he had killed it, he probably would have won the game. Because then the rest of the game kind of, he lost his whole squad of bodyguards with his HQ because it charged into them and then smashed and had iron arm on and etc, etc. Because he actually failed his iron arm first turn, which allowed him to fire at him in second turn. So probably would have won because of that. And he was just chewing through all my guys as well, but I had so much on the board that in the end I just overwhelmed him. Biovores worked tremendously well against the Tau because the Fire Warriors are a 4+ save, and the Biovores are firing 4 feet away with AP4 Barrage. So you're not even getting cover saves most of the time because they're landing right on top of them. And with Barrage, you count cover from the center of the template rather than from the line of sight of the fire like a normal blast weapon does. So I could see them being much like if I were to play against him again, I'd play a different kind of army. Still lots of little guys, which he killed tons of. My dead pile was very big, but then there was just I think he was just unlucky for the most part, and then he made a couple mistakes too. So I think I'd have a harder time against them if those mistakes weren't made. So I think they're powerful. How would I handle them with Tyranids? I would go for swarms with. Would I back them up with Turbogons? Maybe a 3 or 4 Turbogons rather than just 2. But we'll have to see. All right, so we got all our pieces taken apart. So we'll put this one aside. And so these are the base, like these are the sides, and so we have to start with those. And we turn this over even. Oh, frick. Okay, now it's really broken. Oh, and the problem is when you break it, it's like I don't know how you'd call it. It's like pressed board, and so it doesn't break like cleanly. So all right, so let's use some super glue here. Sorry, this is not a good advertisement for their stuff. It looks really cool when it's done. I promise. Oh, why did I do that? But oh, that's why I did that. Okay, there we go. Okay. Avenger talks about Overlord. I like the idea behind the model, but they are way too expensive for what they do. They have no special rule except outflank and infiltrate, which doesn't allow them to charge. Overlord? Like in Necron Overlord? Because Necron Overlords are awesome. But they're not your main unit. They're the HQ choice. They go with a unit of guys in a Night Scythe or in an Arc or with a bunch of Lich Guard or something. And they can do great, especially with Mind Shackle Scarabs and Resurrection Orb. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Wardog, what do you think about the Vanilla Marine Centurions? I've been reading about the rumors. I don't know which ones you're referring to as the Centurions, though. I haven't actually seen any pictures of Space Marine stuff, but I've just read the rumors of like the larger than life, like the model that's bigger than a Terminator, but smaller than a Dreadnought, if I'm getting this right. But I'm looking forward to the Space Marine release, actually. They've needed a new release for a while. And you might think, well, but this codex needs it more. And say, well, Space Marines are kind of the key thing, and they've been outdated for quite a while. This is falling apart. Okay, I'm going to have to glue this one. Problem is super glue is not instant, and I don't have any of the super glue activator to make it instant. So let's try that. Oh, somebody just linked the pictures in the chat. Let me click on that. Okay. From that picture, those look really dumb. Here, let me see if I'll bring it in. So, add screen region. Here we go. Here's the picture that I'm seeing. There you go. And that it might be the color scheme though, because some things look stupider than others until you kind of see them from all angles. But those look pretty dumb. But I can't really pass any judgment until I see them in person or in a video or something. That's just kind of weird. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Hammerdy says, I sure hope those pictures are wrong. I think those Centurions are dumb looking. I agree. Chaos Renegade, I have nothing against the makers of the terrain. I just think that with GW you should still glue them if you want to, for example, transport the models in a normal cardboard box. You must be talking about something else. Okay, this is not working. I might just have to move on to the next thing, because this will need some time for the super glue to dry. Yeah. Oh, sorry guys. I'm going to put this one aside. I'm going to let this thing have time to dry. Alright, so lesson number 1 is be very careful with these, because they can be fragile until they're assembled. I'm sure it's still a little fragile once it's assembled, but obviously this is going to have a harder time getting broken because you're not forcing it to stuff. So, yeah, so like somebody's mentioned they're not liking the color scheme of those models, and I agree with that, but you know, that's easily remedied by not painting them that way, so it's hard to say. So dare I go for something more complicated, or should I just assemble the other garbage bin for now? I'm going to do the other garbage bin for now. It's because this is a simpler one, and I want to have some success on this show to show you that these things really aren't that hard to put together. I just got unlucky with that one. Because I put the other one together and it was fine, once I figured out how to do it. Oh, somebody else put another image there. See that one, they don't look quite as bad. Here, I'll add them. Here. Oh, let me change that. Grain region. There. It's a little different angle. Maybe they're not as bad. I don't know. I'll have to see them. And like every other Games Workshop model, they'll probably grow on me after a while. So we shall see. Alan Duin says they could have powerful rules and everybody would want them. Yeah, like the Dread Knight looks stupid. Like I hate the Dread Knight. I think it looks ridiculous. And I think most people agree. You know, like the baby Marine being held by the big mama Marine. But it's really good. So you'll see them. The Riptide, I'm not a huge fan of that model, but it's really good. So you'll see lots of those too. So far I haven't been a fan of their Monsters Creature Walkers, the Riptide and the Dread Knight. They just don't work. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to put together this one right here. This one should go together smoothly because, honestly, this one, there was nothing I really had to do to pop out other parts of it, so I shouldn't break any of these pieces. Keep your fingers crossed. So let's see how fast these go together. And these are nice and inexpensive, too. Or the new Eldar Giant Walker. Yeah, that's right. I don't like that one either. It feels like they've just taken the smaller guys and blown them up, and they don't look right. Okay, so this one, we have this piece that comes in here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, okay. So this one I actually have to glue, though, because it's not all snap fit. So I'm just going to put some glue right there, and some glue along here. And it stands up like this, so just like that. And it falls apart. That's not its fault, it's just me for putting it down and being too impatient. And then this is going to sit on the side. Let's do this side first because it's facing me. So I will put some glue right there, and right there, and right there, and there, and there, and there, and there. 10 big Star Wars fan. Matt, what do you think about Allied Demons with Imperial Guard? If you're asking fluff-wise, it works perfectly well, obviously. I haven't done a lot of experimentation with allies. I've only seen a few of them actually played against me, so I can't really give much feedback on that. I think that by allowing allies, basically made an infinite number of possibilities of both cheese and just really good armies as well. And so I really should play around with them a lot more. But I haven't been. I can just see a lot more tournament lists. Like, sure, there's going to be that list, but then I think there's going to be more of those lists and people just haven't discovered them yet. So, Overlord, Gep, Avenger, well, I do agree with you on the point. Oh, is Overlord the person you were talking to? Okay, that's what's going on. So somebody's having a conversation in here, and I just thought they were talking about the model of the Overlord, and that's why I was confused. I get it now. Hey, I already did this wrong. I'm supposed to wait to do the one side, because this one piece has got to slide into it. So I'll do that right now, actually. So this piece slides in right here. And the thing is that wood actually soaks up this super glue, so I might have to apply some more. Ah, didn't even get it in there. Come on, you can do it. There we go. See? See, now we have this piece, and this piece actually turns, and that's what allows it to open and close. So you'll be able to see that before I accidentally glue it shut again. That goes in there. This goes in the bottom, so this goes along right here. So let's do that next. Okay. Some glue in there. And there, and there. And then this slides right in there. Perfect. Okay, there's our dumpster so far. Ten big Star Wars fan. Matt, how do you think they should nerf the Doom in the new NID Codex, if at all? I don't know. I don't think they need to nerf him. I think he's perfectly balanced. Obviously, he's... Well, okay, I said that jokingly. But in the Doom's defense, no, he's pretty powerful. I'm trying to think of the drawbacks of the Doom. How they nerf him? I don't know. All they'll probably do is just take away his innate psychic thing and then just have him be a psyker. Because you have already the psychic scream. It's almost like that is meant to be his replacement. That he'll just be a psyker that knows 1 or 2 spells. Or 1 or 2 powers. It would be really good if he was a psyker level 2, so he could jump in and cast Psychic Scream a couple times, but, you know, we'll see. So that would probably do it, actually. Because then rather than getting everybody on both people's turns, they would just be on your turn, and it would only be 1 unit. So, because right now you can replace this power with the Psychic Scream, and so he drops in, does this little bubble thing of everybody getting their leadership, and then he can actually target another one, actually further away than 6 inches, and do them as well, or the same one twice, the one that's already been targeted, and it gets a little ridiculous. And then he stacks up his wounds and hopes not to fail one of his 3+ invulnerables against the last cannon, which would just insta-kill him anyways. So I've had a lot of success with the Doom. I don't bring him as much anymore just because he's just such an obvious choice, and I'm not a big fan of obvious choices. I like to try to bring different combinations that you don't normally see, just to keep things interesting. Just because it makes it more interesting. I guess that's really all there is to it. Okay, so this goes over here. Ishadin said, just joined in. The train looks interesting. What kind of train is it? It's a train by Bandua Wargames, made for Infinity, which we'll be starting soon. I was actually kind of waiting for the train to get here, but that's only one of the reasons why it's been delayed. There, see, I haven't put the lid on yet, but see, this opens and closes. But the thing is, now that I put super glue in these little joints and they're so close to it, that as that super glue dries, it'll stop it from actually opening and closing. So that's my own personal choice. I'm sure if you spent more time than I am right now, you could prevent that, but I really don't care about it opening and closing. It is a cool feature, but one that I just don't care about. And we put the lid on. Et voila! We have our completed dumpster. Just like that, you have a really cool looking dumpster. Now it's a little deceiving because these designs that you see on it, those are laser etched in. So you move your fingernail on it and you barely feel the bumps. And what that means is when I go to paint this, those are going to get covered because they're not really rigid details. And so the paint will just fill it in and you won't even see those there. Same thing with all these little contours. So you have a choice. You can leave it unpainted and just play it with like this, which looks cool at first, but once you have a full table's worth of this terrain and it's all just like this wood color, it loses its appeal. So we had, because we've all the buildings that we use for our dark potential, it's all laser cut as well. And it just didn't look quite right. You thought it looked good unpainted, but then you painted it and you're like, no, that looks much better. So in reality, all these details are going to get covered up and we're going to have to freehand on some details. Or not. We might not. We want to paint these quickly. So overall, though, I still really like this terrain. The cons being, of course, that obviously it's a little fragile. And putting it together is a little finicky, but their website has a video for every single piece to show you how to do it. So let's see, is there something else? I do have another small piece. We've got these advertising packs. I'm not sure how complicated they are. I know that comes with a bunch of advertisements. These are like billboards and things. So there's a bunch of pieces in there. So 10 Big Star Wars fan says, Matt, did you guys end up getting all the models painted for Apocalypticon? Yes. Well, it was a requirement. It wasn't a matter of us getting it all painted. It was a matter of everybody else getting it painted. You could not bring a model if it was not painted. How did Apocalypticon go? It went really well. I'm considering coming next year and was wondering how exactly it works. For instance, teams or every man for himself. It's 2 teams. Generally Imperium versus Xenos. And it's a little watered down version of Apocalypse. We don't use all the rules because it just would take forever. But keep out. Look at that. It's kind of fun. Okay, let's see if I can get these extra pieces out without breaking it. Like I managed to keep doing over and over again. Oh wait, no, I don't think these pieces are meant to come out. If they are, they're nowhere near cut out. So it kind of looks like these 2 pieces right here and here. Oh, here. Reverse. Here and here should come out. Okay. Shotgun asking, is Bat Rep your last name? And it's kind of fun because sometimes I explain that it isn't and sometimes I don't. And that way there will always be somebody. I'm not sure if you're joking, Shotgun _ nostrils or not. My last name is not Bat Rep. Bat Rep stands for Battle Report. It's a short form. I'm not sure who made it up, but we heard it from Blue Table Painting. So that's where we heard Bat Rep from all the time. I'm just going to leave those in there for now because I have a feeling that if I try to get these out, I'm going to snap this whole piece. And I don't want to do that. And then I think it's going to be as straightforward as sticking it on these things. Yeah. So I think it just goes on one of these and then just stands there. Well, that's exactly how it fits, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, like that. So you have some sort of cover that you can see through, so it can provide some sort of cover bonus. And Infinity, if you're up against it, you just get cover. Infinity's cover system is actually quite simple and elegant, and I like it. So far, what I've played of Infinity, I have to say I really like the game. I'll have to play a lot more of it before I can really pass any real judgment because it's hard to really know how you feel about a game until you've played it a lot. It's not as hard to learn as people were making it out to be. I know that the hard part will be learning all of the different unit stats from all the different armies. It's War Machine is actually, and maybe the Infinity is bad for this as well. War Machine is a great game, but has the problem of too many special rules. It's funny because we're starting our War Machine League, and I thought, well, maybe I want to make some cards where we can print off every single special rule so we can show them in the video every time they're used, and that'll make it a little easier for us to do the shoutcasting for it, the voiceover. And so I looked up on a website, I can't remember which one, it's one of the wikis that has them all, and I'm like, I want to see a list of all the abilities. And it was huge, just so many abilities, and so many of them crossed over. Like one of them basically said the model can't be knocked down, and another one, it said something along those lines, but it wasn't exactly the same. Another one, every time you're hit, you get to move 2 inches. Another one, every time you're hit, you get to move 4 inches. So there's just a lot of repetition, and I don't like that aspect of War Machine. I love War Machines, just so you know. As I'm criticizing it, this is from somebody who really likes War Machine. I think it's a very good game, but its big flaw is that for beginners, they have to learn a bajillion special rules. I just remember the frustration of my very first few games where I thought I had figured it out. I had my army, and then I go to play against somebody, and I'm like, okay, I should be good now. And then he's like, boom, I can do this, 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 and this, and caster kill. And I'm like, really? Okay, well, I'll be ready for that next time. And then I go to play against him next time, and all of a sudden he's like, well, or somebody else, and they'll be like, boom, I can do this, 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 and this. A caster kill. And I'm like, what? Oh, maybe I should have put them in the middle. What's this for? And so that was just really frustrating for a new player. And that happened a lot over and over and over again. And but then now I know it. So it's a little different. Now I'm just going to look up this one. I'm looking it up online, make sure I'm doing it properly. Designed for Infinity. Yeah, these ones are designed for Infinity. Okay, so advertising panels. Here we are. pack. This is pack, not 3. This is pack 2. Yeah, pack 2. All right, what am I doing wrong? Well, this one's a minute long. Oh, I see. You can link them together one after another. It's meant to go in the middle, not on the sides. Why are they designed that way? That's weird. So it's not actually supposed to go like this. It's supposed to go like this. So in the middle. Oh, that makes more sense. Oh, I see. So the other part right there is so you can link them. So you could have... Oh, look at that. That's cool. So because of the way the little things work, you can now put the next one in like that. So you could link them up. So I'm gonna link some of these. I'm gonna make some of them longer. That is kind of cool, actually. Now that I see what they're actually doing, I will do that. All right, let's get the chat back up here. I lost it when I went to look on the website. See you later, Vichy Swas. Vichy Swas. Okay, so piece of terrain. It looks like the pieces are not meant to come out. Okay, so let's get this one right. Here we go. So that's the next piece. And then I will put some glue on right here. Come on, glue. Come on. Come on. There we go. This piece and then over here as well. So that makes more sense. So there. So we have like this, and I could keep it going, and I could actually have it come around a bend too. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll put the one together that'll be nice and big. Because, well, in that case, I should have put the other one, but oh well. So, let's see. What other questions do we have? Do I ever go to the War Machine or Warseer forums? Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I'm in there. Yeah, Shotgun was joking about asking if my last name was Batrap, so that's what I thought. I wonder if there are very many people who believe my last name is actually Batrap. So here's this ad. Once again, these details are going to get painted over, so you have to kind of freehand something of your own back on it. And what am I building exactly? These are like fences or advertisements. So, and that way, and it's terrain for infinity, or designed for infinity. So you can have this on the board, and then your model would be behind it. And you have to agree with your opponent beforehand if you can see through it to fire at it. So normally, terrain this high would block line of sight to that model, and just being able to see a tiny bit of the model doesn't really count. Skullbar, are there any War Machine Hordes armies you don't like playing against? Trolls are my big enemy, because the 2 players that have played Trolls against me regularly are actually really good at the game. So they keep stomping my face in, and apparently Trolls are really good against Khador. But I'm sure somebody out there could tell me the counter to it, but yeah. Okay, so I got those together. What time is it? 22. Okay, we're running low on time. Yeah, so I get the basic idea of these. I think I'm going to let these dry. I don't think we'll have time to cover these. So let's go like this. There we go. And I know I already did this intro, but let's actually go into a
Q&A.
So now I'll just answer the questions that you put into the chat, so you can go ahead and start posting questions right now. It'll take a few seconds for me to start seeing them. I'm just going to put this aside while I wait. And then I'll just answer as many questions as I can in the next 10-15 minutes. And just so you know, while I'm waiting for questions, we never announced this, but Dave and I are now occupying the same time slot for our live shows. So we're going every other week. And every week was just becoming too much. And you might have noticed that for the past few. I was disorganized and I wasn't doing a very good job with it. And that's just, I didn't like that. So I want to be able to put more time into these, especially the sit and plays. And so we're every other week. He's going to have Shrine of Chaos every other week, and I'll have my shows every other week. Shredrig, wouldn't the toughest battles be the ones you learn the most from, though? Yes, that is true. But I'm telling you how frustrating it was. And you have to realize these are games, so they're supposed to be fun. So your first encounters with the games are the most important encounters. So if the first few times I'm just like, oh, this is so frustrating, but I'm going to keep doing it because I'm, running a website where we do battle reports and I need to get into War Machine. So I pushed through because of that, but otherwise I might have just gotten frustrated. Ray-Gamer Matt, what do you think about War Machine Tactics? I think it looks awesome. I've backed it. That's a Kickstarter thing, so I've backed it, and actually backed it enough to get every single one of the models that they're going to be releasing. I think that's awesome. I think it's a great idea. It'll kind of allow people to get the feel for the game without actually getting to the miniatures game, which allows two things. One, for Privateer Press to make more money, which allows them then to grow their business. And number two, it can get more people into the miniature side. Because I don't know how many people I've heard who have it's just been so many who's like, I played the original Space Hulk computer game and that's what got me to 40K. There's so many people say that. So it's a good way to get new customers into the miniature war game side and at the same time make money on the other side too. Chaos Renegade, my friend has started Tyranids. What is their most powerful thing that I should target with my Tau? Turvagons. If they have Turvagons, focus them down. And then Hive Tyrants, like the psychic guys, basically. Captain Goldteeth, will there be any Fantasy Battle Report soon? It's been months since the last one. Honestly, we haven't been getting anybody coming in to play Fantasy against us, and that's why you haven't seen any. So will there be any soon? I think somebody's actually scheduling to come in for Fantasy in a week. But you're just not going to see very many of them. They're just not as popular, unfortunately. Lucky Charms, will you guys be doing bat reps with Dan once he gets his channel up and running? Dan is out in Alberta, which is a few hours away by plane. So I know he's going to be coming down because of this Kickstarter. He did a stretch goal to actually come and visit us. So he's going to do that. But on a regular basis, probably not. Miso, if you are going to do a monthly painting challenge to start a new War Machine packed in, which one do you choose? Legion, or do you like Convergence or Mercenaries? Not a big fan of the Convergence. I like the idea behind them, but I just not falling in love with their models. Mercenaries or Minions would be kind of fun. 10 big Star Wars fan. 10. Matt, do you have any advice for a new War Machine player playing Crix? Visit the forums. That's what I always tell people, because the forums, you have a collective knowledge of tons of players. So just go on the forums at Privateer Press or MiniWarGaming or sorry, not Warseer. Do they have a War Machine part? Maybe they do. In which case, yeah, Warseer or whatever, and just start browsing and seeing what people are doing. You'll get lots of ideas there. Start off with a powerful list and then branch out to the stuff that's less powerful. They start with powerful because you're not going to be as good a player, and so having a powerful list will make up for that. And then you can branch out to the more elite things that take a little bit more finesse, just so you can have more fun with it too. So hold on 1 second here. Sorry if you hear a little echo there. Welcome to the chat room. Chat room. Just trying to see. There we go. Okay. All right. So, what other questions do we have here? Overlord asks, Matt, in your opinion, who is the best Khador caster? Khador has a few good casters. Vlad is a good one. Karchev. Well, not Karchev. Butcher is a good one. Sorsha is a good one. Those are your kind of your staple ones, and then the other ones are a bit more. They require a bit more work in order to make them work really well. Like Karchev, he's tough to make work, although he is tough. And Irisk is really good as well. I haven't played a lot with him though, but from what I have, he's really good. And like with Sorsha, both Prime and Epic Sorsha are both really good. Oh, I think I screwed it up. Why am I getting my chat screwing up here? Oh wait, no. It's just taking a second to populate onto this one. I gotta close this. It's gonna throw me off. Yeah, so they all have their advantages. Some are like the Old Witch works really well, but you have to use her just right. So P. Iris and E. Sorsha says Miso. Yeah, I think those two are really good. Mass DK says, I don't know what bat rep I was watching, but I have heard this a few times now. MiniWarGaming has talked about rage for Tyranids. What is the reference to? I know of lurk and feed. Did I miss something? Yes, instinctive behavior feed If you fail your instinctive behavior test, you gain rage, which in the old edition of 40k was a bad thing, because it forced you basically to charge your nearest opponent. In the new edition, it gives you 2 attacks on the charge rather than 1. So you actually want, like your Carnifexes, you want to keep them out of Synapse, because they're fearless anyways, so they gain nothing by being in Synapse. Yeah, they gain nothing. And so you put them out of Synapse, they gain rage, and so when they charge, they get +2 attacks, which is pretty awesome. Max Darnett says, do you think Flyers made 40k bad, or is it a matter of time? I'm assuming by matter of time you mean before it gets balanced. I think Flyers, yeah, they threw off the balance really badly, but I like their introduction because it just kind of gives a different aspect to the game. But they definitely should have done a better job with them, that's for sure. Neil Mort, 1 to 2 Arc Nodes, 1 Scarlet Thrall, 1 Warwitch Siren, and you'll use it in almost... Okay, the Crix, that's the answer to the Crix one, so I'm going to leave that. Sub says, what is your most favorite unit to make chaos on the battlefield? Yumgarl and Steelers are fun. 10 big Star Wars fan Matt, what will I need to buy to start playing Dark Potential? Nothing yet, because all there is a starter set, and it's enough to... I guess if you buy the starter set, you can get the rules for free online, and then you can start playing. But it's not really fully developed yet, so... so that the core rule... If you go to darkpotential.com, you can download the rulebook. Shotgun Nostril says, I like the idea of the alternating schedule. Poor MiniWarGaming Dave was relying on random rambling to fill his time. I also think you two should play 40k against each other maybe every 3rd week. Anyway, my question is this. Do you have any strategy to help remember rules? I considered cue cards, but looking for more tips. I like to keep the rule book with me, and I just look them up whenever we have a rule question. Other than that, you have to just read the rule book a lot. If you have a memory issue, and I'm being serious, then you'll have to just rely more on the rule book or on a friend who knows the rules really well. That's really all you can do. Shoot, I forgot to refill my water. I think it's empty. I feel like Frodo in Lord of the Rings when he's like, except I didn't spill any. Such a wasteful. Neil Mort, do you have plans to give Owen a raise? He seems to do most of the bat reps on your site. Lately, well, Jay's part-time, and he's been doing tons of battle reports, but he's been getting so many booked that he hasn't been getting around to editing them. Like, I think right now, he's got 8 battle reports to edit. So that's why you've been seeing lots of Owen. He works 5 days a week doing battle reports. Jay works 3 days a week. Dave doesn't have much time for battle reports, and I don't have much time for them either. So Jay and Owen are the main producers, and Owen's full-time and Jay's part-time. So that's why you see that. So they get paid by the hour. So the fact that he does more battle reports means he gets paid more. What other questions do we have here? Yeah, Overlord's saying, for Crix, don't make it a purely solo-based army. Yeah, Crix works well with their units, having lots of guys on the board. Miso Matt, I think you love your Jacks too much. How about trying some Khador infantry? You also need to debuff Troll's armor. I know I love the Jacks too much. That's why I got into it. And so I have a hard time not bringing lots of them. And I also just like the fewer models. I like the lower model count. I know a Khador army is better with just like 1 Jack and tons of infantry, but I like having less models on the board. So I have a hard time with that. Mini Girl says, hi everyone. Hi Mini Girl. Avenger, Matt, when will you show a bat rep with flayed ones? I don't have flayed ones. Not yet, at least. So once I have flayed ones, I will show them with them. I actually have a Necron battle report with Praetorians, but I have to edit that still. Punisher 1, you should look into E-Irisk and running a Man of War heavy army if you want a low model count army. E-Irisk and Man of War heavy army. I'll have to check that. I do have lots of Man of Wars, so I could do that. I think I have like 3 full units of them. So that could be fun. Any other questions? I am going to finish a little early today. Let me just close that and open this and close that and do this and hit that. Here we are. Overlord. Matt, are Praetorians worth their points cost or Lich Guard better? Well, I played with Praetorians in my last game against... It was against Chaos. Or was it Space Marines? It was Chaos. And they did pretty well. They did, I don't know. I don't think, just on paper, they don't look very good, and in the game they didn't do super well. I like the idea of using them just for fun. But I would guess that Lichguard with shields are going to be better than Praetorians points for points. Greenleaf Terrain, will you play my trolls on the table I built, sir? Of course. He's got to send us an email, and we will set up a game. Mass, DK. I'm looking where I can find a specific rule where it says Tyranids use the rage rule. It's under instinctive behavior. I don't have my codex right here. So look under instinctive behavior. Max, darn it, what army do you see most in 40k? Well, in our battle reports, you're going to see mostly Tyranids, Chaos, Necrons, Tau, because that's what we have. But in reality, you'll see a lot of Space Marine armies out there. 10 big Star Wars fan. 10, Matt, will you be running another Indiegogo to perhaps promote the further development of Dark Potential? Yes, but not for a while. Not until we're ready to really go at it again. Neomort, the Magnet email suggestion. Could you guys do some really fancy tutorials, such as how to cause a model to float on a display piece? Probably not that fancy. Shotgun Nostrils, stoked about Space Marine rumors? I'm looking forward to it. We'll see when they come out how good they are. Miso, please, 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 will you start a new War Machine faction? Really like the War Machine Bat Reps. You could do a month painting challenge to start. Choose Scorn. We'll see. All right, one more question, and then I'm finishing. So I'm waiting. The next question is the one I will answer. Waiting for one more question. Here we are. What armies are you bringing to Valhalla? Asked Cody Rue. I'm thinking I'll probably bring my Tyranids. Last year I brought my Lizardmen, but nobody else brought Fantasy. Everybody brought 40k. So I learned my lesson. I'm bringing 40k. I'll bring my Tyranids. And that is it. That is all. That is it. There is no more. Thank you very much for attending this live sit and talk. I hope that you enjoyed it. Kind of put together a little bit of terrain, very little bit, and answer a bunch of questions. So stay tuned for the Shrine of Chaos will be next Thursday. And then actually no, we won't have the Shrine of Chaos next Thursday because Dave and I will be away. Somewhere. I'm not going to say where, just somewhere. That would cause us to be away next week, whatever that could possibly be. This is Matthew from MiniWarGaming. Thank you again, and happy wargaming.